Hugh Hefner, a true American icon, created an empire that was unrivaled.
Although some of us bunnies may have gone rogue, it's because of the love and respect that we received from the man behind it all.
Because after all, we did learn from the best.
Relive the stories from the most prominent celebrity home in history.
What happens in the grotto stays in the grotto.
From those of us that lived it,
The employees that worked it,
And the guests who loved it.
And
The
mayhem continues.
If you see Tyron walking around,
She needs to go to the bar and grab something for Jennifer.
tequila.
On the rocks.
Shocker, right?
Did I just hear that you just ordered a tequila shot?
Did I?
Yeah,
I
Jen.
mean, do I ever not?
Well, we did. I just land. I don't want to say landed. Just drove in. I'm a little exhausted, but I think tequila is about the way to get the show started.
I don't know, though. I have to jump in. Hi, it's Teri. Jennifer was hurting this morning, and I actually started bottomless mimosas via Jennifer's advice at 9:06 with Darian.
Wow.
It was a wise choice.
It was a wise choice.
Yeah.
So, but I'm on my third double vodka and
Oh,
soda,
Lord.
and it's 12:42. What are we, Pacific Coast time?
We're in Vegas time, so it's
time?
drink o'clock.
Right?
So it's
we're
all day
like in
long.
like this weird vortex where just like we live in our own little world.
Zero time.
Right? I'm excited because this is going to be a fun few days. We are doing our Rogue Bunnies Mayhem podcast, and we have the lovely Teri Harrison here. I believe it was October 2002?
Yeah, October 2002, many moons ago.
Many moons.
I still
Speaking
look
my
really good,
language.
thank
I
you,
like
I know.
that. That
You
was
look
good. That was
amazing.
good.
Amazing. Botox does wonders.
No, we're just going to have a lot of fun this couple days, and I'm excited to see. You know, we just got to witness Victoria just kill it on stage.
Yeah, she did amazing.
She just did a really cool. What would you say, like an overview
Q&A,
of what's going on with Rogue Bunnies, Jen?
Yeah, I mean, she is so good at speaking about the project that brands.
Good point, Teri.
Come
Good
on,
point.
Jennifer.
Sheesh. Okay.
We're
No,
past
she
the
is just she's just a natural leader. So she really, I mean, we drew a crowd. I mean, and everyone
Absolutely.
who's that walks over here is, are you Victoria? Where's Victoria? Like, they want to meet Victoria.
Could be, though.
The other blonde. Yeah.
Terry, how did you get wrapped up with the whole Rogue Bunnies thing?
Well, it's kind of funny because Ava Fabian,
Oh, I love
who
Ava.
is also Rogue Bunny, is a really good friend of mine. What was the question?
Well, no, how you got it? Okay.
And that's where the tequila doubles are coming into
Part
play.
of the Rogue Bunnies.
No, yeah,
Well,
Rogue Bunnies. Okay,
so Ava actually, you know what's funny is I am going to go back on here just to make sure that I actually know. So Ava on 4/24/2021
Ava Fabian, yes.
called me and left me an Ava Fabian message. Long,
Yeah.
drawn out.
It was
drunken.
very detailed, though.
Some things
Yeah.
that didn't make sense, some things that made a lot of sense. And one of them was, Victoria and I fucking love you so much, and we miss you, and we have something that we want to share with you. And so that's where it all started. So 4/24/2021, I got a phone call. I didn't answer because Ava called. I sent her right to voicemail.
I did the
naturally.
same thing. You have to
Because,
hear what it's
like,
about.
You do not get a phone call from Ava Fabian after not talking to her for 12 years without sending her.
It was. I was like,
I
either
wasn't
something
prepared.
happened or this was a butt dial. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I
you know what I mean.
I knew it was something. And so I listened to it, and then I was like, yeah, this is cool. And so I called. I didn't call her back, actually. So like 2 weeks later, Victoria called me and left me, which I also have saved. Hey, Ava called you. You didn't return a phone call. We really want you to be on this project. You're one of our favorites. You are especially rogue. You burned your bunny costumes with cigarettes. You did all the bad things that you weren't supposed to do. You were literally the quintessential Rogue Bunny. And I was like, oh, that's what we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm in.
I like
I'm in.
this.
Because I was always sort of the black sheep when it came to the bunny persona.
But what do you
And
mean,
not-
like burnt your bunny
I don't
costume with
know.
cigarettes?
Me and
Pat
Jennifer
Lacey would be
Walcott-
all over you.
Oh, she was, but whatever. I'm Teri. So no, she was all over me.
Yeah.
Lacey hated me. But guess who I had on my side? Marilyn Grabowski and James Gonis.
Oh, okay. All right.
Oh,
all right.
James. I love James.
So when you have them on your side, nothing else matters. Anyway, long story short, I didn't even smoke cigarettes, but I was such a rebel at the time that I was like, these bunnies are too soft. They're too cute. Let's just fucking burn the costume. I'm just kidding.
I love it.
No, I never actually smoked it. I lit it. And burned it.
You just lit it.
I hate cigarettes. No, I don't know. You know, I was 20 years old and just,
A role model.
for lack of a better term. I don't know. Who knows why? Guys, I don't know. It's just who I am. But I was just one of those bunnies that just like was against the grain and always disappeared on my jobs and married drummers for Korn and Sevendust during the time that I was supposed to be working for Playboy. Had multiple children and now I'm back.
And she's back. And she came back with a vengeance.
And we're about to go into some major debauchery, or as they say, rogueness, for the next couple of days. And they say whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas or is broadcast out on a podcast.
Actually, I think everything I've ever done in Vegas has not stayed in Vegas. I think I am the differentiator.
I mean,
why?
you're
Leave me alone.
Well, we have a big party coming up. That's tomorrow night. I'm excited to talk about that, but we're going to take a quick break.
Awesome.
We're going to be right back. We're going to be talking about that. We are here with the lovely Teri Harrison. We are Rogue Bunnies Mayhem.
Hi, I'm Victoria Fuller, Miss January 1996. My bunny sisters and I have joined forces, or should I say, have gone rogue, to revamp the heydays while forging forward into the future. Yes, I'm talking about the metaverse. So come join me and our sorority of the sexiest ladies on the planet. I promise you won't be disappointed. To join the party, find us at roguebunnies.com. That's ROGUEBUNNIES.com. Get in the game. Build your collection. Go to roguebunnies.com. You'll find us there.
Welcome to the metaverse.
We're just talking about like the old days. You wanted to rough things up. Playboy was just seemed a little bit too prim and proper for you.
Yeah.
So you're talking about like burning up cigarette holes, making Pat Lacey frantic.
Pat Lacey.
But now you're
Not
the
dead
mom.
yet, but
you're
she
living
will
the
roll
mom
in her
life
grave.
now, right?
I am.
Well,
But
I love talking about this
Yeah.
because everybody has their different parts of their
Totally.
world, and you go through some rebellious stages,
Yep.
and then you have to
And then you
tame
grow up
down,
because
and
you
you have
have
to be
to.
a mom. Except for these next 2 days.
Yeah, right. It's funny though because my kids are texting me. They're like, "Mom, are you okay?" You haven't texted me. I'm like, God, my kids know me.
because they know.
Oh my God. But they're 15, 13, and 10 now, and they're all boys. So they're like, all of their friends now are like, oh my God. Like my oldest son, Jack Rose, I was married to a drummer, Morgan Rose, for Sevendust. We're still great friends. Great father. My son is amazing.
That's dope.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. So we all spend a lot of time together, but he was like, Mom, like you have to make your Instagram private or take off your old nude photos. I was like, I have old nude photos? I legit had no idea. So his friends went so far back in my photo history.
Boy.
They found my can I say pussy
Amazing.
on here? They found my pussy. And I was like, oh, wow, Jack, that was like 10 years ago. Look at when Instagram started. He was like, well, Mom, kids nowadays, like
They have a lot of time to scroll.
I was like,
Well, and like all his friends are also discovering like hot mom.
right? And
Yeah.
so, of course, then I realized, I was like, oh, no wonder 16 kids stayed at my house last weekend.
It's
like, okay,
hashtag
now
MILF.
It's actually starting to make sense. No wonder when I go to the gym, I'm like, why are his friends here working out right next to me? So it's really cool, but at the same time, it's like, I'm sure that the parents of the children are like, God, this whore. Just kidding.
I know.
Or they're like, you know what? Actually, I take that back. I
love
say
you
it.
so much.
Actually, what I've recognized and realized over the past like 3 or 4 years as my children got older is that the parents aren't necessarily like, oh my God, you whore. They're like, they live vicariously through me.
Yeah.
Because it was probably something they wanted to do back in the day. However, they were like, Hef didn't choose them. We were the chosen ones.
Oh my God.
And so that's
You
hard.
love her.
It's like a harsh reality.
I'm just enamored by
A harsh reality. And so I think that they want to hate me, but then they talk to me and we're like in this normal like setting. Like I live in Woodstock, Georgia, which we're one of our community members, Magunki lives. Crazy. We're the only 2 Asians in Woodstock, Georgia. I'm quarter Japanese. That's why I say that. Anyway, so what I realized is that the parents actually are like, oh my God, I want to hate you. You're so pretty. And then they're like, oh, I love you so much. Like, Jack, your mom is amazing. She's so cool. She's amazing. She has tattoos. She cusses. She talks about bad things, but she also talks about good things. Like, I'm a normal person. I have my own cooking page called Territory Food. Get it? Territory Food.
I like it.
And I love to cook. I'm natural at it. And actually just pitched one of my new show possibilities to my old manager, Ray Manzella.
Oh.
It's called Cooking on the Fly. Like one of my favorite things to do is to get like 5 or 6 ingredients from the store and just like, and I test myself. I'm like, I'm a good cook, but I'm going to test myself today.
That sounds like an actual nightmare.
Weird ingredients. And I put them together and I give myself 1 hour to make the best
So like
meal.
you're creating your own Top Chef challenge to yourself.
But it's like so much cooler because it's not set recipe. It's called Cooking on the Fly. Like the whole idea is like, can you create with the weirdest 5 to 6 ingredients the best meal that anyone's ever had?
That's like unnecessary stress added to your.
But you know what's crazy?
You thrive on it though. Yeah, I can see that.
I'm so excited.
So like chicken, pineapple, celery.
Actual sustenance. Yeah.
And then peanut butter and I don't know.
But if anybody, but I can make a mad kung fu chicken.
See, okay, that's cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, so your boys are now discovering.
Yeah.
Okay, mom's hot. She's out there, and all her now we know why all your boys' friends want to come and have
they all
sleepovers.
stayed 16. I'm
Jen,
not lying when I say that.
Your boys are how old again?
They're 9 and 7.
They're on their
When
way.
you're hearing these stories, are you starting to go, wait a minute, is this what I have ahead for me?
I'm nervous. I don't know. I don't know because there's so many moms that knew me growing up.
Teri's just owning it. She's like,
no, and I feel like that's what I sort of need to do, but it's hard
Jennifer's
because
different than me. Jennifer, but you will. But by the way, Teri 5 years ago was not Teri now. Like I didn't have a teenager 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I only was basing my decisions and parenting decisions upon my child's age at the time. And then what I realized as I got older, like when you actually go through puberty, you actually go through puberty.
Yeah.
So you go from thinking your mom's cute to being like, oh my God, my mom has tits. Oh my God, she did show her pussy on the internet.
I'm so excited for that phase.
Like they're like, wow. And then so every now and again, and not a knock on my children because this might make them sound weird, but we are humans. I'll walk downstairs and forget like mom's hot and I'll have a robe on and my kids are like, Mom,
put it away.
What? They're like, we just asked for rice, okay?
When you were married to the drummer of Sevendust, did you have children at the time? Did you go on tour?
Yeah, so
I think it's really cool. Like Kimberly Phillips is married to Todd Morris.
Yes.
And he's with the Offspring, and it's really cool when they have the kids off to the side with the headphones.
It's so funny. I can probably find it and show you, and I'll maybe show you after the show because we don't have that much time. But yeah, of course. So Sevendust.
I mean, that's really cool.
Toured a lot with like Snoop Dogg and Godsmack and Disturbed and all of those sort of like new metal bands that were coming up in, I guess, the early 2000s or whatever. But yeah, so Jack actually, we had his own custom earphones that would cover and protect his ears, and they had said Jack Rose on them. And then Morgan would bring him on stage, and Morgan would play with Jack in his lap, and we'd play in front of we played a festival one time with over 200,000 people in Glasgow, Scotland.
Wow.
And I wasn't supposed to travel because I had just given birth to Jack. He was only 2 weeks old. I don't give a fuck though. I came out of the hospital and I took him to Benihana, and all of my kids love Benihana because all 3 of them came out of the hospital 3 days old, and the fire from the Benihana hibachi table. They go,
oh yeah.
Like that, right? And so like all 3 of my kids, like still to this day, and they know the story now, but growing up they didn't know, but they were like, Mom, hibachi. They love it because I accustomed them to that. That's what they knew from birth. It's funny because when I was pregnant with Jack, I was probably 5 or 6 months pregnant. And I still went on roller coasters because I'm a freak. And he literally is obsessed with roller coasters.
I can't.
And I can't find it in my heart to tell him that I was so pregnant and I went upside down multiple times with him, and that's why he loves them, because I just want him to experience it on his own in real life and make him think like he likes them because he's into thrill-like things.
So wait, we have to segue back because in our Metallica show, we referenced you because I feel like you told a story once about going shot for shot with Lars from Metallica and
in Paris. Okay.
Shot for shot with Lars Ulrich.
Wow.
Oh, I want to hear this. Okay, this is cool.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to I'm a long story short, not a short story long type person, so bear with me. But this is actually when I was married to David Silvera from Korn. We traveled to Europe for like 7 weeks. We had our own buses and all this thing was so amazing. Like, oh my God, it was so incredible. And so we were like going to all of these festivals with like Black Eyed Peas and Muse and Metallica and like, oh my God, it was just so like Bulldog Cafe. Like I got so high with Fergie. We ate 2 brownies at Bulldog Cafe in Amsterdam one night. And I swear to God, I am not making this up.
I need you to write a book.
I am not making this up. I woke up with David, my ex-husband at the time, next to me, and a whole 12-inch pizza on my chest at the America's Hotel in downtown Amsterdam.
The whole term of pepperoni nipples just exploded in my head.
Oh boy! We were so fucking high, and I remember sitting next to Fergie, and she was like, "I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything." It's Fergie. And David's like, no, you just got to give it some time. We've been here a million times.
Yeah.
We're like, no. So we have 2 of the brownies. And next thing you know, I end up with the pizza on my chest.
But you're hearing colors.
So listen, so that was in Amsterdam. The moral of the story is the next day we had to get on the bus and travel to Paris, which is not too far. I don't remember the distance. We did it multiple times, but we traveled to Paris and we all stayed at this really nice hotel and we're all off on time because the tour had just started. So we're like on America time or whatever the time. And then we're like 4 hours ahead. And so we're like actually David and I were walking down the street and I just recovered from the pizza on my chest. And I'm like walking down the street, we got off the bus and I see Lars and like James Hatfield and all these people like sitting in this little cafe in downtown Paris. And I look at David and I'm like, oh my God, I am actually not, and this, I don't mean this in a mean way. I'm not a Metallica fan. I think they're a little cheesy for metal. I like really heavy metal, like Hatebreed stuff. So I was like, that's Lars.
I do not agree.
I am containing myself.
But listen.
Okay, but anyway, you see them in the cafe.
And it's all outside. And by the way, it's 3 a.m.
Okay.
And it was normal because we had just come from wherever we came from, Amsterdam. The tour buses just arrived. There was 26 of them or something like that.
And you're in Paris now.
And we're playing a festival in Paris, France.
Right.
Underneath the Eiffel Tower. And it's like 200,000 people are expected to be there. And we're not
3
a.m.
They're not cafe, anywhere
actually,
like
not even the next day. It's 2 days later.
Okay,
so we're
right.
partying. So like sit down and Lars talks like this. He's like, yeah. Like he's like surfer / foreign. And I'm like, yeah, Lars. And I'm like, this is why I don't like them. But whatever, just joking. So we're like, all of a sudden, David was like a very jealous person. He's like Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee was the best man at my wedding for David and also for my husband, Morgan, by the way.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, fun facts. So he like very jealous. And so I was like, good, I'm tired. So Lars said, do you want a shot? And I was like, sure, get a shot. And it's bourbon.
Oh, okay.
Yum.
All right, there we go.
I don't drink bourbon. I don't even know if I had bourbon ever in my life until that point. But I was also only 20, so
yeah.
Try everything once.
I was legal. But I was like, okay. And then he was like, oh, we're gonna take more. However he talked, he had the weirdest Southern foreign accent I've ever heard in my life. I was like, fine. So this is 3 a.m., 6 a.m. rolls around, and I swear to you when I say this, at least 20 shots.
Wow.
And our hotel was probably 2 blocks away, Chateau Alaziz or something like that. I just wanted to say that because it sounds fancy.
Well, I mean, Metallica was known for drinking. I mean, they were like
so
nicknamed Alcoholica.
But then other things started happening because we had shows later. So we started partying, doing other things. And we ended up partying and staying up, I think, until probably the following day, until like noon or something like that. And then we all went back to our rooms. And then they played the most incredible live rock show I've ever been a part of in my life. But not even just Metallica. The lead singer of Muse came out in chaps. So he had no assless chaps, by the way.
Awesome.
And he started playing Starlight. And I was like, I get goosebumps.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like,
that's cool.
Like, it was the most incredible live.
When I meant that was cool, I meant like him singing, not that he's wearing chaps.
Yeah. But, well, both are very cool things. It depends on what you're into, Brian. Or whatever. To each his own. So I just, so shot for shot with Lars until 6 a.m., day off, show, and Paris, and then one of the best shows I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and then we actually, you know what's crazy? So Britney Spears married Kevin Federline at that time at Turtle Island in Fiji. Yep. You want to know what's really cool about this story? Actually gets bigger. we decided at the end of that tour, because Korn was leaving Paris and we were going to Australia to play 3 shows at Sydney, the Gold Coast, and I think Perth. And the band had decided to get a private plane and go to Turtle Island to end the tour, because we had been touring for 7 weeks or they were going to tour for 7 weeks. I think we toured for a week and they were going to tour for 7 more. They wanted to have a little break before they finished the tour leg. And so we rented. So there was all of the news that Brittany had married Kevin Federline and stayed at this Turtle Island, Fiji resort. And so the whole band was like collectively decided we're going to rent out Turtle Island before we finished the leg of the tour. So the entire band plus Snoop Dogg actually joined us, his band, all of his people. Metallica didn't. They ended up going to because they were all like, it's funny because they were all older and married at the time already. Even though Lars was having a good time, they were still family people. Right. They were like, no, we're not going to party at Turtle Island. So we ended up staying at Turtle Island for a week, and then we finished the leg in Australia. And then I think they went back to Indonesia. I flew home, but because I had to work on The Price is Right. Nice little segue.
Insert next question here.
Seriously, when we talk about, like, you know, I'm so stoked that Victoria decided to reach out to you ladies.
I know.
Get the Rogue Bunnies going, get the family back together. As some would say, get the band back together, right?
Yeah. We say that all the time.
But you ladies have literally lived lives that most people can't even imagine. Like you're saying, write a book.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
know, how many?
Like, you need to.
How many? Get married rock stars.
It doesn't even end there though. Like I broke Major League Baseball players' hearts. Multiple, all the things. I don't know. It's funny because, and I'm going to say this, and I mean this. When I was growing up, I told my mom I was going to be on The Price is Right. I was going to be in Playboy, and I was going to marry David Silvera from Korn. Swear to God, if my mom ever hears this, if you could call in and this was a live show, she'd be like, "I swear to you, Terry told me this from probably the age of 10." And so I'm like huge on manifesting things. And I think it's part of my culture. Like a lot of Japanese people, especially, like to manifest their life for the best. It's like all about a positive outcome. Long story short, I was with Darian this morning having bottomless mimosas, and we were about to leave. And I said to him, "Do you think that this server will give us mimosas to go?" He was like, "Absolutely not." I'm like, "Challenge accepted."
I got them to do it last night.
And so
they made me promise not to. Yeah.
Tell me the story. She's very conservative, right? But I can tell she's Japanese. So I had that going for me. Her name was Marie. My middle name is Marie. So I was like, I have all of these bullet points that I'm going to make her. I'm going to crush her. She's going to have to give me alcohol to go. So I didn't even have to do any of that. So I said to her, hey, do you guys give, will you fill up a pitcher of mimosas for me to go? She goes, we don't do that. She walks away. I looked at Darian, and Darian will vouch for this. I said, she's going to come back with a cup. And he's like, a cup of what? I'm like, mimosas. Darian, she's coming back. I can already tell the way she said no to me. He goes, no, she's not. That was a hard no. He goes, oh. He's like, oh, so it's going to be like that this week? Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, welcome to the Matrix.
The Terry Show.
Terry, I could go on and on and on. I want to keep this show going, but we're going to have to wrap.
We'll do a part 2.
But can we do a part 2? We'd love to have you come back on. Yeah. I mean, and again, if you guys are... Well, by the time the show comes out, we have already had the party. But I'm telling you, you don't want to miss what Rogue Bunnies is doing.
Yeah.
It's not just living in the metaverse, as Jen has explained to me from the big get-go a year ago.
Yeah.
Brian, we're doing live events.
Yeah.
Come hang out. This is an opportunity for people to go. What would it be like to hang out with Playmates?
Well, I think it's cool. And what he was saying earlier
is Rogue Bunnies now.
Yeah.
You know, and it's fun.
It's the social interaction piece that sets us apart. It's really the reality version of the metaverse.
Yeah. I think
which is very ironic, but that's what I think makes it special.
We always like to say it's a project with a pulse because every NFT has a real person behind it. Yeah. It's not just art and not just a trading card. It represents each one of us.
And Victoria handpicked, and she knows. Victoria is a very keen,
she's very selective
character.
Yep.
Very smart businesswoman. I've always respected her for that.
We're all different. We're all crazy.
Yeah.
In our own right. But also,
we all know how to go rogue.
Yeah. We rogue.
Well, Terry, how does everybody follow you?
So I am the Teri Harrison on Twitter, and then on Instagram, I'm Teri Marie Harrison, my full name. Don't follow me on Facebook. It's so boring. It's just my kids playing sports and shit. So Teri Marie Harrison on Instagram, and then the Teri Harrison on Twitter.
All right. I'm Brian Olea.
Jennifer Pershing.
And
the mayhem continues. You're dope.